Hey, what's up, guys? Deek, Diedricksen from Odd USA and RelaxShacks.com, my tiny house channel. Descriptions, links probably below. Please subscribe, check it out. We have like 600 videos since 2009. I want to share with you guys, because I know most of you, unless you've inadvertently stumbled upon this channel, are fans of tiny houses. So I have a brand new book out called Micro Living. And thank you guys so much. It recently hit #1 in carpentry worldwide on Amazon, which is pretty flattering. It took about 3 years to put together. I'm going to show you kind of a sneak peek or the inside of it and the layout. Lots of photos, but lots of text as well. Some guest chapters from a lot of luminaries in the scene. Andrew Odom, Ryan Nicodemus from the Minimalists, Michelle Boyle. So this book, I listened to some constructive criticism, as I should, from last book, which also did very well. Thank you. And that's why there's a sequel. There are plan sets, floor plans, bird's eye view for every single cabin and tiny house equipped just about for full living, full-time living in this book. There's a floor plan for every one of them, which I want to do with the last book, for the record, with the last book. But the publisher didn't have the funds for the artist to do it. This time, I made sure we did that. Also on the back, and I'll show you a close-up of all the stuff too, like the last huge hunk of the book is a full-out plan set for a versatile structure that could be potentially a tiny house with more insulation, some tweaking, a backyard art studio, a cool shed for hobbying, that kind of stuff. The book's now on Amazon for like $12. Regularly, it's like $20, so check it. But I want to show you the interior right here because there are a lot of tiny house builders that I featured that I kind of consider are the best of the best. And there will potentially be a book 3, so if you're not in this one, I will definitely consider you for the next one. So let me show you what's in store. All right, here we go. For the record, this is fake fur from staging a tiny house shoot, some decor. Here's the book. I can show you a little bit of it, leaf through it quickly. I took most of the pictures in the book and traveled to actually see most of what I featured and built a couple of them in here. So it certainly, like I said, is a labor of love. It took a lot of time and money to put this together. I was kind of foolish in accepting the challenge. I will lose money on this probably. But some of the houses featured through here are rather eclectic. That's what I was going for. There's a couple tree houses, and a couple of them kind of push the border, like, is it really a tiny house? But if you had insulation and electricity, it is. But most of them, I would say like 36 of the 40, the goal was full-time living. They have to have a kitchen, they have to have a bathroom, a source of heat, that kind of stuff. So you can see it's not just a coffee table book. There's a lot of knowledge, like how to find materials on the cheap, some of the things you should plan into your tiny house, how you should go about doing so. A lot of cool art as well. But as we go through, from all over the U.S. and beyond, there's a house from New Zealand. I think there's a couple others from outside the country. Easier for me to film in the U.S. is what it comes down to. But throughout, it's just very eclectic. I talked about the floor plans before. B-floor. Freudian slip. Here's what you see for each and every structure in here. Detailed measurements, where the furniture goes, just to give you a better understanding visually of how things are set up. A lot of stuff that's built on the cheap. I'm a big fan of budget builds, with reused, recycled, salvage materials. Even some houseboats. This one's in Seattle. I stayed in there. We did a video on that one. Mike Bedsall from Tiny House Chattanooga. There's some of the high-end stuff as well. There's him. There's Michelle Boyle. There's the Willow Tree House. This is like the fast-forward flip here. This is Dominic Mangano from the Jamaica Cottage Shop. A lot of the big names in the tiny house scene, but I also made sure to include some of the no-names in the scene and some of the new jacks, so to speak. This is in Austin, Texas. Very modern. We have rustic stuff. Here's Josh Engberg from Tiny House Basics. Love those guys. And on and on. A chapter from Andrew Odom, like I said. Here's one that was built for very little money that was in Rhode Island. The tricks of that. We go over to Olympia, Washington. Tennessee, on and on. This is David Latimer. His stuff is among the best design and classiest in the scene, I feel. Some gorgeous photos here. Converted buses. Portland, Oregon. Bear's Tiny House from Georgia. The Dragonfly from Canada. We go up to Canada. A bottle house, just to mix things up. Check this out. 7,500 wine ends and liquor bottles make up this tiny rental house. So there's some rentals in here. There's some that are lived in full time. The list goes on and on. The shine in these pages is setting my camera off, so it's not focusing. But where are we going here? Tumbleweed, stalwarts in the game. Some of the OGs. Back to Tennessee, New Zealand, and on and on. Jewel Pearson, her house is just gorgeous. I love it. The interior stylings and decorations, the color schemes, I'm a big fan of. Not what I would do, or it wouldn't really work for me, but it's her, and that's what I love about it. She's really, you know, building her house to suit her needs, her personality, and that's one of the focuses of this book as well. The Empty Nest, Michelle Boyle, she's absolute dynamite and has some cool tiny house rentals, Airbnb in the Portland area. Make sure you check them out. This one goes to the ultra cheap kind of spectrum of things. Kyle, who once took one of my workshops and later built this cabin with some of the know-how, and now is building another one. It's a place in the middle of nowhere, off-grid in Vermont. Shipping container conversions. It's not a small book. I think it's 200, let me peek, like 264, 270 pages. 250 at least. Ryan Nicodemus from the Minimalists. You probably know those guys. I love them. They're awesome. Huge names in the game. This is one of the smaller ones, built for almost nothing, from Stephen Harrell, who runs this here channel. Or Tiny House Listings, if you're watching this on my channel. tinyhouselistings.com. It's the biggest site in the game. He built this really cool cheer stand, kind of a spin on a deer stand in hunting territory. A house made out of pallets for very little. A cool tree house that was built for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Vardos from Andrew Bennett of Trekker Trailers. This is one we did for HGTV, my brother and I, with a lot of reused, recycled materials. A lot of high-end photos, glossy pages. Really cool book. I'm very proud of it. I hope you guys dig it. I mean, that's the aim. Like I said, I'm going to make crap money-wise off this. Really, if you guys have put out books before, you know that. It is through a legit publisher. So they do some of the legwork for me, thank God, so I can just continue building and, you know, watching reruns of the Smurfs. Some smaller stuff as well. Here's an old tumbleweed model, the XS, that was only 6 by 11 feet. And on and on and on and on. Campers, vintage campers, tiny houses that are only 12 feet long. You'll probably get dizzy, I'm flipping so fast. But check out the book if you'd be so kind. All right? There's the overview. Here's some of the plan sets again in it. I skipped a couple pages there. There's more than that. And there is, somewhere, focus. There's Stephen Harrell, who runs this channel. Thank you, Stephen. And this is something recently, not featured in the book, but just another picture. Some really tiny shelter glamping cabin we built that I designed in the small dwelling company from Texas, Sam and Lindsay Underwood. They are awesome. They built this. It's prefabricated. We might have a plan set down the road. And on and on. I skipped a bunch of pages. But, I mean, you can see the focus, darn it. You can see the heft of the book. See, every time I hit that shine, a lot of pages. It took forever to put together. So I hope you guys dig it. Check it out. My hands look so old in the camera. Who is this old man? Thanks for watching, guys.